Okay, so welcome to week, or not week, but I guess round 3 of the Ponyo Customs. We have 2 games today. The third is an ARAM, and I shall not cast it. I shall play in it. I won't stream that, just stick to the casts. But we do have themes for these 2 games. Coming off the Ponyo versus Goat games, we are now doing, for game 1, Briar Main's Nightmare. Theme of this first game is going to be all champs that do not have visible footsies. So as you can see, Rumble, Belveth, Bard, Nami, Camille, Nocturne, Bard, Belveth, Lysandra, Nami. This is blind pick, of course. That's why we're seeing the mirror matchup here with the Belveths. Of course, not in the same lane as we have Nocturne being jungle, but nonetheless a mirror matchup of sorts. We are going to expect just basically no feat champions. So this is what we got selected. Oh, also the Nami. Very obviously both supports. I'm now also realizing we have a Bard matchup, and neither team has ADCs. But let's see how this goes. We're launching into the game right here. Take a quick second to load. Hopefully. You never know with a League client. Okay, there we go. We'll get right into this quick. Does look like the stream is doing fine. It's all good and dandy. So for game 1, this will be Team Ponyo versus Team Hero, I believe, is the captain of that team. So we'll have to see exactly how that goes out. Ponyo is going to be playing Lysandra, and the hero is playing Belveth. We do have the infamous League Twitter Kha'Zix one trick on Nocturne this game, Spike Rax, otherwise known as Bone Void. We'll have to see if he's a one trick pony or not. Most likely we'll still do fine, but it'd be very laughable if he seems to fail miserably. That would prove the one trickedness. We'll have to definitely check out to see if the same early game aggression is going to be present on this side, or on this game, as we saw in the prior custom games, where both teams would basically just dash it out level 1 on the bot side of River, and that led to very explosive games. Of course, Ponyo taking very decisive wins in all 3 games, the third one being a win by forfeit, and there you go, the classic. Looks like we're gonna have to reload because the client does not work. So hope that we get in here real quick. Just to be expected with your average Riot Games experience, I suppose. Hopefully outside of this we won't have too many more hiccups. Usually upon the second entry into the game, it loads up smooth enough. Be a bit more patient. We'll be falling a bit behind the schedule, which shouldn't be too big an issue. Of course, there's always downtime between these games, and it looks like we are finally in. So let me organize the best of my degree, or of my abilities to know where people are going. Assuming that's a Bard ADC. It's gonna be well, mid, I'm gonna presume. And yeah, it looks like we are good to go. And there you go. You see the pings already. Both teams are running it down to the bot lane. Let's just see where this ends out. Both teams are, given the nature of the triple mirror matchup, are going to be at least generally even. There's going to be a big power in the presence of Rumble Q here, and then Camille also has a bit more reliable CC, because it's unlikely that Lysandra will start her CC herself. They are trying to sneak here, Seems that blue side is not quite as prepared for an invade. Kind of just goofing off a bit. Ward goes down, will be spotted by the Bel'Veth. Bard's going to be a bit aggressive here, following up on the Nami. Does get the Bel'Veth out of focus, the Nami bubble lands, and that's going to be first blood going to Team Ponyo. Rumble's going to get a bit of poke here, but the 5 of them will have an easy enough time exiting, and they will be able to have a normal jungle start themselves. That is a really good start for top Bel'Veth here. Going to be a bit late to lane. Could have also opted into backing and using an early TP, trying to just secure the gold into an item and then play the lane that way. However, looks like they'll be a bit more patient and just walk up the lane themselves. Have to see exactly how this game gets progressed after the start. Of course, it's going to be in the favor of red side here. Red side also have pushing bot lane, so we'll have to hope that... Oh, it looks like it's actually a Bard mid and a Lissandra bot. Very well. We'll make that adjustment. Bel'Veth is definitely not having the push here, as Cam did arrive to lane significant earlier. It's going to be very confusing calling out these bot laners here, as the mirror matchup with the Nami is going to be quite confusing. At least it's the only lane with a mirror matchup. Wards do go down, trying to get a bit of pressure in that brush close to blue side turret. Besides that, it seems that most of the game is a bit slower. A lot of the champs right now are full HP, focusing probably a bit more on stabilizing and getting the CS than continued poking. Of course, the oddity of this comp by both teams is going to cause definitely a different way of playing the game. Bard is going to get a bit caught out here. Of course, we'll have that mystical journey, or have you, to escape that. Cam getting a lot of good poke here. Bel'Veth is already low, but of course, nothing that her E cannot save her from. It's going to be a pretty slow start for this game, to see exactly how each team decides to progress. We will of course have that first dragon coming up, but we do know that the way these games go, objectives are not nearly as important as just the solo kills and the early ganking kills are for these players. Bard is getting a bit chewed up here mid, low HP and mana. Of course, that's going to be one of the advantages of playing Rumble, is you never have to worry about that kind of resource control. Cam finds herself a bit under tower. Will trade still well into the Bel'Veth. We'll have to eat up that tower shot and just keep going. Cam did opt into the Ignite teleport, so maybe if they had a bit more mana, this is definitely a secure dive. Instead, Bel'Veth is going to make great use of that 55% damage reduction and kind of just tank the entirety of Cam under tower. Ignite will not kill her, and the Triumph proc will save him. Meanwhile, on the bot side, it's like a Nami bubble is going to stop the bait recall. Not too much special going on there. It was very good of Bone to cover that top lane dive by the Camille. Made it so that there was at least a guaranteed 1-for-1, and of course Thunder Robo did end up on top there. Both top laners have returned to lane with their teleport. Probably just going to try to fight each other out a bit here, just get control of this wave, as Bard does hit a decent root. Nami Bubble does not follow, and it looks like because red side does land the CC, it might be favorable. However, the exhaust will change that. Bard will miss the CC, and it's just a HP for HP trade here, as both the bot laners are low, and the supports are running out of mana, so definitely interesting. We will see the junglers also come down here. Bit of trading coming up top side, but it will be here bot that action comes out. Nocturne does find the flee onto Cloud. Bel'Veth will try to return. Bard narrowly dying to the Nocturne's Q. And it will be Bel'Veth actually not able to secure anything in return, with Team Ponyo securing 4 early kills this game. Currently up a decent amount, about 1.5k gold. Lissandra will be stopped here, but Nami will also stay behind. The mana is very much so an issue for the red side here. They will want to back, and Bel'Veth will not be too endangered. Rumble getting a nice trade-off against that Bard. Bard is definitely suffering quite a bit this early game. needing to focus a lot more on just farming and maintaining a sense of stability in this lane as he is being pushed in a lot. Take a quick look at the items so far. It does look like that Spike on the Nocturne, Bone Void here, has gotten Tiamat and is trying to really, I guess, farm his way forward. It's going to go into, of course, an early Stride Breaker, which combos really well with his ultimate and managing to get picks across the map. But for now, it'll just be a good aid for clearing the jungle. Outside of that, see a Lost Chapter pick up from Lissandra will help with the mana sustain in lane, and a Vampire or a Vamp Scepter coming out by the Bel'Veth. Do see the Hextech Ultimatum coming out onto Spike Rax. Bard should be coming up here to visit. Have to see exactly what transpires, and it will be Bard just giving a bit of an HP buff and Cam walking away here. Bel'Veth does have the option to push this wave in, try to get a good tempo back for herself. Have to see exactly what Thunder Robo decides to do there. Bit of vision control being contested in the river here. We do see the dragon. Of course, the red side is being pushed in both in mid and bot at the moment, so Bel'Veth does have this timer to go for the dragon. We'll see Spike Rax taking the back here. He will pick up a Phage and a Dagger, so not quite close to the Stride Breaker quite yet. Probably will choose to go into the Grubs eventually. We'll be pathing towards Krugs at the moment. We definitely see here Worldwide Talent creating a lot of pressure on Rumble, threatening the dive, and he will claim it. He will have to use the Rumble Carpet Bomb and Flash Ignite to secure the kill, which may or may not be worth it, as DJ Chu on the Bard has not been applying too much pressure, but it will at least secure some amount of lead for blue side to kind of try to get back into the game. Having a strong mid laner is always a good means of coming back, as it provides pressure both entering the top and bot side objectives. It was a curious Nocturne R going out, maybe looking for Worldwide Talent being a bit too pushed in, but instead opted into just kind of roaming with it. It's going to be finding Camille up top, but instead will, as Camille postures more into the river, back off, maybe instead going for his camps now. Grubs are still on the map, and of course both junglers are topside. Bel'Veth will of course want to grab the Grubs, and then in this case both Bel'Veths would be interested. And misses the hookshot. Bel'Veth does get a decent trade back, but will lose because of Camille's auto attacks. And it looks like at this point it's definitely blue side with the map pressure in terms of the lane push and priority. So we'll have to see exactly how Bone manages his laners in order to get them ahead. He does have the majority of the gold advantage on his team, which of course is not the best place to have it on a Nocturne, who's mostly going to be a facilitator and a picker, but not necessarily a carry in this game. Of course, the only real carry champion will be Thunder Robo on the Bel'Veth, so maybe playing a bit more for topside would be a plan. Bard getting a massive poke under tower. Rumble will have take a tower shot in return, but not too big an issue. Both the hook shot and the Bel'Veth knock-up fail, but Bel'Veth is seriously damaged from that trade. With the advantage of the significantly stronger auto attacks, Hextech Ultimatum comes out. The Ignite with the W will secure the kill, and Thunder Robo is going down. Bard trading a bit back here onto Rumble, has to be a bit careful. It will be both the mid and the jungler ults coming out, and it seems that unable to secure either the mid or the jungler, Worldwide Talent will fall on Rumble. It's a good play by Spike Rax, trying to secure a bit more pressure for the Bard, who's been struggling in this wave, or in this lane, especially because of the lack of wave control Bard presents. Taking another gander at the items, we do see that Bone had completed the Stride Breaker. He is going to be the first to get a full item along with Lissandra with the Malignance. Definitely going to have to be a bit more present about the use of the Lissandra ult, and careful about that because it will be up a bit faster than otherwise. But besides that, it's going to be a pretty stable, fight for both teams, as the money is, of course, still largely gathered on the jungler, which will not be present in the lanes. Bard returns with a decent CC. We'll catch Nami with the ult. Bel'Veth is available to follow up. Instead, it will be Lissandra returning. Bard nearly falling. Bone Void will get a nasty flash in. The empowered auto attack clearing both Nami and Bard. And of course, it's going to end with a secure on Hero Nugget. Fortunately, Worldwide Talent will be able to pick up Chicken Ponyo on the return. However, that's going to still be in favor of Team Ponyo. You can see that Bone Void is now 602 on the Nocturne, definitely becoming more of a threat. Of course, we'll have to see exactly how much he's able to do with that, as he is a jungler. Rubs have still not been contested, which is definitely a very interesting state to be in, as both teams would definitely be interested having Bel'Veth, but it seems that neither team is looking very interested in it. Bel'Veth will probably pick up the Bard here. Bard actually gets a miraculous ult, capturing the entirety of the blue side attacking him, and he'll likely be able to leave here. Opponent will be able to provide a bit of pressure in return. Does get caught out by the Rumbler. Nami picks up Bel'Veth. Bone Void does go in, grabbing another double kill. Sandra, meanwhile, on the bot side, trying to pressure this Nami, will land a bunch of CC and potentially grab the kill here. And it looks like Chicken Ponyo will claim Cloud. This is a very advantageous state for red side, as they are up 4k gold, and definitely seems that Bone has been able to a lot of advantages around the map with his strength. Here Bard is going to try to pick up Lissandra, definitely much healthier, probably able to at least get it. It will be Ponyo trying to get the escape teleport, instead getting stopped with a Bard R, and between both misses it does fall to Glaciate picking up the kill. Here the tidal wave comes out, a bit ambitious, and will buffer the hookshot and will be safe. Here Bel'Veth does have the empowered form thanks to the grub pickup, which was all due to Spike's as a jungler. Of course, it's going to be very advantageous. Bard once more getting grilled under the heat that is Rumble. And we'll have to see exactly how Bel'Veth manages this empowered form, as Bel'Veth will be Bel'Veth herself, and it looks like red side Bel'Veth Thunder Robo will fall to Hero and Adon. This does give the chance for Spike Rax to pick up the spot side Dragon. Just has to be a bit careful about how blue side chooses to rotate the Rumble, as he has push into this wave here, and Bard is a bit stuck. It does seem that they will most likely grab it uncontested, however, as for the bot side they do have a decent and ample amount of pressure as their wave is pushing in. Hero Nugget is going to try to trade with the Rift topside. That of course is going to be a great pickup on the Bel'Veth, getting that Void empowered. Besides that, we can take another look at the items, as it seems that a lot of things... Oh, never mind. Looks like Thunder Robo is going to try to claim quick here. A kill onto Maedon, but of course Camille is very slippery as a champion, and Bel'Veth, besides the initial knockup, does not have many ways of chasing her down. Taking a look at items, we do see the Borg pickup on the Bel'Veth. Oh, and Nocturne's going in on the Bard here, will escape through the mystical journey. Nami trying to self-peel. Will be Bard probably causing a bit of a whoopsie there with hitting Nami in that ult. Meanwhile, Rumble is trying to claim a kill topside, and it looks like it will be a 1-for-1 topside. Rumble does use the flash to get ahead, might actually claim this kill as well with the Ignite, and it will be Bel'Veth falling as well. You can see Worldwide Talent doing a great job trying to fight back against Red Side's advantages as the leading mid laner in this game. Now that it's truly a bit calmer, we can take a look at the items as I've been trying to. See the Trinity Force on Camille, it's of course a giant power spike. Can still be significantly stronger than the Bel'Veth, especially with her 50% advantage in CS. Nami is going to get almost picked off here, but will be able to just barely dodge the hookshot. In jungle, both Nocturne and the Belveth are sitting on somewhat similar items. Of course, the Tunneler and Double Longsword aren't going to be too impactful as a jungler relative to that kind of advantage on a laner. The Rumble having the Leandries is definitely a huge pickup. The red side Bard opting to an on-hit AP Bard variation, same as Glaciate with blue side. Your Camille might be punished, of course. The shot does land safety. Nami's going to go for quite another ambitious solo tidal wave. Here Ponyo is going to probably try to just encase her in ice. Will be successful. And that's going to be Maydon falling. It's going to be a trade back on the top side, and 3 of them there. They'll probably actually be able to take this tower. I don't think Hero Nugget will be able to do much to stop it, especially if the tower is so low HP. He's going to actually have to leave, not to die. Nocturne will try and start a fight here, and there's just too many people here. Team Ponyo has been able to use this numbers advantage really well, claim 2 kills and push into at least 2 turrets. Nope, never mind. He'll claim 1 turret, push halfway into this one as the carpet bomb from Rumble will stop it. We see that the supports, the Namis, have decided to go into different directions, whereas the red side support is opting in more damage-heavy mandate start. The side is going for the Moonstone. To see a bit of punish here come out with Thunder Robo. However, neither side will really have a hard commit into this fight. DJ Chu is going to escape from Maydon as he claims that bot tower, and we can definitely see a huge amount of map pressure appearing on the map here for red side. They're claiming towers one after the other. Ponyo will get the flash ult off onto Maydon, and once more the cam is going to fall to this punish on the side lane. It's of course one of the ways that red side's composition does have a lot of strength. Have a huge fight come out here. Ponyo biting off a bit more than he can chew. Nocturne flashing in, trying to claim the kill. We'll look for a fear, but not claim any. The Coral is being a bit guarded here. We'll have to see if they re-engage into this fight. Nami's backing in a curious spot. Bard will leave, and the other Bard will just take the vision. So that was a bit of a sloppy take on red side to try to go in there by Ponyo, but of course it's kind of fine when you're ahead anyways, as mistakes are not nearly as punished. Here Belveth is claiming this tower, but will be caught kind of out by herself. Nocturne claiming it. Oh my gosh, that was a decent escape, but the smite will stop the Rift Herald. Nocturne barely evades the Bard ultimate. Will be able to claim Belveth here. Chu is trying to fight, show his prowess as the better Bard, but it will not be successful. Tidal Wave comes out trying to alleviate some of the wave and pressure, so does the Rumble ult, getting a lot of chunking out, but it does not give them the speed they need to catch up, so it will just be a trade for HP. No kills secured. You have a 5k advantage for red side here. Definitely going to be a very promising position for them to take further. We'll have to see exactly where they choose to advance their leads. They will be claiming the 3rd dragon of the game, 2nd for themselves here, rather uncontested. Cam and Thunder Robo are having a duel top side. And it's looking like it's at the point where Belveth is just so strong that her auto attacks, especially the ramping damage she gets off of hitting a consistent target, is going to be enough to take down Cam. Take a quick look at items and see that they were basically even that fight as well, which goes to show how Belveth is going to most definitely outscale Cam this game. And that might be an issue in the side lanes, especially if Cam's not able to kind of make use of hookshot to one-shot Thunder Robo. Going to be both Belveths meeting here. Of course, red side is 3 levels up, so it's not going to be too easy for Hero Nugget to do much. Thunder Robo will likely just back off here. Might get caught by Glaciate. Seems that the Belveth is in a not so great spot. However, they're kind of dodging everything. Have to try and evade this fight. Looks like Belveth might be fine. Ponyo in a bit of a bad spot here. Rumble is very strong. Thunder Robo falls as well. Bone tries to pick up the kill, but the Zhonya's will save him. Good bubble by the Nami. Of course, DJ Chu will pick that up with the Ignite. Both teams are kind of slapping each other in the face quite a bit here. Of course, red side is still up that 5k gold lead with double the kills. Have to see exactly how they choose to continue these fights. Looks like Glaciate will be caught out here. Excellent pickup from red side. Definitely playing to their strengths, trying to take advantages in sides and in the jungle rather than playing a straight up team fight where Cam and Rumble can shine by really punishing individuals and teams as a whole. Seems that blue side is taken quite a bit back from the off roll or the off champ Nocturne this game. He is 10-0-6, definitely paving the way as the MVP of this game so far. Besides that, it seems that red side is doing decently balanced. Definitely going to be an angle for red side to kind of try to force either a Baron fight and then flip it, or not flip it rather, but turn to try to get a couple picks and push the map that way. There's also the angle of just trying to steal it. Catching enemies off guard in their own jungle also works, but definitely going to want to see some sort of Baron pickup sooner or later to accelerate the waves this game. As their push is not superb, it's definitely not awful, but going to definitely want a bit more tower pressure than what they have by themselves. So trying to prioritize that Elder would be definitely a smart idea for a team that is now close to 7k ahead. Taking another look at items, seems that most are either honing in on their second full item or already have it. Definitely see the item disparity coming out as everyone but the support on red side does have their second item picked up, whereas the second item is still being gathered on blue side. Bard is trying his best to escape, finding himself just more foes in the process, however, and losing ultimate. Here we do see the Ponyo TP coming out. They will try to punish this, however, they are outnumbered. Thunder Robo will fall. Ponyo has to escape. X-Tech Ultimatum is still available. Cam might try to 1-for-1 here. Not certain. Does look like they are backing off. Rumble will continue to pursue. And nearly threatens Lissandra. Does have to flash out of there. Of course, a flash for Ignite is always a worthy trade. You see bot side just got decently well pushed in by red side. We have only one turret that's in the lanes left for blue side. So we're going to have to see how Hero's team manages to either contest objectives or keep their own priorities made. But it's definitely going to be a struggle from blue side going forth this game, as Team Ponyo has a massive advantage both in terms of map pressure and just gold overall. Blue side is going to be prioritizing a bit more warding here in the bot side, trying to at least get some amount of vision. There will be Spike going for the solo 1v2 versus the Nami Bard. Will be able to flash over the Nami bubble. Bard trying to catch the other Bard. Of course, Glaciate will find himself in a sticky position as he CCs himself. There will be the Cam and the Rumble joining in, trying to recover. Unfortunately, Rumble does fall as DJ Chu was able to successfully save Spike here, and they will walk forward the victors of this fight, and that is going to be 4 down for Team Hero. Seems that Belveth is doing the only thing they can do and kind of refocusing their funds, getting the Blade of the Rune King pickup here, and just going to let this wave kind of go in as much as it has to, as they cannot really do much until the rest of the team is alive. Bard picking up that last lane mid turret here, or mid lane turret. Belveth are fighting. The Coral will come out, so the hero will be stronger, and Thunder Robo will be unable to pick up that inhibitor. Ponyo trying to clear out a bit of this mid-tower's HP. Not going to be able to do too much. And it will be Red Side's time to kind of reconvene. They do have the 3 dragons. Of course, the dragon's not coming up for a little bit longer. And oh, good spell shield by Spike. However, the engage by Belveth will be sufficient, and that will be the first death for Bone Void. He has a 20 KD still, but he has given a massive amount of money to the Belveth, and now with 4 of them topside here in River, they will be able to start contesting this Baron. Belveth with the Coral is also going to be doing massive amounts of damage, so this might be a turn for the game. We'll have to see exactly how Red Side manages to deal with this. Might try to either steal or turn, but of course Spike is out of commission. Cam does choose to flip onto the Bard. Bard lands a nice ult, kind of slowing the pace here. Objective is claimed by Blue Side. Rumble will fall, unfortunately. Red Side is kind of in a fine spot here. Oh, and it will be Hero grabbing Coral. Of course, that's going to help him get a bit more HP and kind of sustain through that damage. Thunder Robo will pick him up on his second Coral claim, but that will trade back somewhat. Of course, you don't want to really be dying once you have the Baron buff, but there's only so much you can do when caught out in that position. They were able to kind of create some amount of push or pressure with that pickup, but it won't really last too long with how little of their team has it. And still see just how powerful Red Side is their push at the moment. Going to be very hard for Glaciate to do much besides push the Belveth off the wave. Not really any angles for capturing them. It seems that it's going to be a slower pace game up until either one person gets picked off randomly in the jungle or we see the dragon spawn. Take another look at the items. Yep, as you can see. Oh, Cam does land the hookshot onto Cassandra. She is forced to ult herself. Tons of massive AoE ultimates coming out as a ton of stasis from the bards is happening. That's another massive shutdown coming from Bone Void's death. Ponyo's going to have to be a bit careful here. We'll try to punish so that Thunder Robo can kind of come up and clean up as well. Belveths are Belvething each other. However, it will be Hero Nugget claiming the kill on Ponyo before dying himself. So we're seeing a lot more back and forth. Unfortunately for Blue Side, the gold difference is not changing. Of course, it was once at 8k, and now it's down to a not so measly 6,000. But scaling of the Belveths really show themselves with these fights, as both of them are very present and highly efficacious at taking down the enemy. Here, Thunder Robo is narrowly dying while, or not narrowly dying, but narrowly failing to kill Worldwide Talent, as he does die. We've seen almost 2,000 gold go down from Nocturne here, and we're seeing that both Belveth from Blue Side is opting into a much more bruisery version, whereas the Kraken pickup on Thunder Robo does insinuate a much more strong dueling tension. 3 items on almost all the champions here. On the red side, we see Lissandra kind of stunting her 3rd item with that Seeker's purchase. We'll be picking up that Crypt Bloom soon enough. And of course, the supports are going to be stuck pretty much at 2 items for the rest of the game here. Blue side, we do see a Warmog's purchase on the Bard for Glaciate. Of course, that's not going to have the, presumably, the HP buff. Let's see if we can figure out. Oh, it does have the HP buff. So it looks like that perhaps Glaciate took runes for hit points, or for health. Nami will get caught out from this Rumble ult. However, Cam is definitely significantly weaker than Belveth at this point in the game, and will just get chewed down over time by those auto attacks. Blue side does have themselves a good position here, as Thunder Robo is not present. Ponyo is forced to save himself with the Cassandra ultimate, but of course Belveth being extremely strong at this point in the game will be able to claim Ponyo right after. That's going to give a chance for blue side to take this 5th dragon. They'll stunt the 4th, the Dragon Soul pickup for red side. However, it seems that red side will choose to mitigate their losses by claiming this inhibitor here mid. We'll have to see exactly how blue side chooses to respond. They most likely will be able to, if they want to, claim 2 inhibitors. It seems that they're going to be a bit more careful, instead claiming just the 1. At this point, we do see 3 items basically around the board on everyone now. It shows the stage of the game we're in. It's definitely a very high gold game, even though we're only at 30 minutes. That is 56 kills on the board. All these fights can basically go either way at this point, as the individual champions are so strong and the ways of the fights are generally very brawly and scrappy, that there's not a clear front-to-back style way to predict how these fights go. Nami nearly getting caught out here, but will be able to self-peel and escape. Thunder Robo will be nearby. See how they choose to fight this. Bone might opt to go in here. It will be him going in. Does get missed by the Bard R. Seems that the Hextech Ultimatum is not doing Cam too much good. However, Rumble will be here for the pickup. Fortunately, Ponyo on Cassandra will be able to stunt him. Now Maedon has to try to escape. Farsight Alteration goes into the brush. A quick flash here, and that will be the pickup from Thunder Robo. And then DJ Chu claims Cloud, and so I can only assume that from this point forward, that red side will just hard push into the end here. They do have not the greatest timers, but decent enough timers at this point that they can really try to pressure their full team here. And we can see just how strong Belveth is with that attack speed here from all the accumulated coral. Towers look like they're coming down pretty quickly. Tower 1, Tower 2, here's the Nexus. That's going to be game 1 win for Team Ponyo, and an excellent game played, no feat shown. See you here in the second game where we will relive Worlds. And welcome back, everyone. The game loads here, and I'll quickly do swapping of the player cards. So for this game, we are going to see a 2013 SKT Worlds Finals comp versus a 2021 EDG Worlds Finals composition. Of course, the SKT is going to be played by red side here on Team Bone Void, and then the 2021 EDG comp is being played by Team Ponyo here on the blue side. And it seems that as I can only presume, the champs being played are not nearly people's preferred or comfort picks, as the aggression is at an all-time low, as both teams are doing these pseudo 5-point starts where they're pretty evenly matched across the map without trying to be too aggressive from the start. We do see Ponyo kind of positioning here on the close bush to red tower, trying to maybe get a bit of poke out on Cloud and Glaciate as they come to lane. Xin finds himself actually in a really bad location here. Khan will try to get a quick trade off onto Cloud Zyra, instead opting into a bit of just poke and let go. And both junglers are kind of on their way. We do see Xin starting at the Raptors, Jarvan taking the red buff start, Jax kind of getting to lane late. It's going to be a bit problematic, as of course Kennen is going to be able to decently poke him down, so he's going to have to be a bit careful about how he plays the lane. So it'll definitely be an interesting bot side. In terms of thematic, it's going to be Zyra and Corki having a bit of an advantage, as Zyra does not mind playing into the Rakan. However, of course, Aphelios, when he does have that sniper rifle, will be able to outrange both of them. So it's going to be... Ooh, and we do see Zyra here catching the Aphelios out. Aphelios having to barrier the level 2 lead taken from red side is heavily penalizing the disrespect that Ponyo and Rakan have been displaying here at the bottom. Kennen has this giant wave pushing in. Jax is going to have to move out. Decent trade back from Choose Gragas. I think Xin was spotted here. He will be wrapping around. Actually, he probably was not spotted given how things are looking. Corki is going to flash out of the Rakan, however will not be enough. Xin will claim that. Zyver will be able to kind of walk out unharmed. Kennen is making a great amount of use out of the Jax under tower here. Thunder Robo tries to punish Kennen, but will fall in doing so. Kennen is only at half HP. He's going to be able to kind of stay in lane as much as he needs. Thunder Robo will be forced to teleport back as he's already lost a ton of minions. Xin is caught a bit far into the enemy jungle here, and he will have to fall. Glaciate will pick up that kill. Of course, it's going to be well put on the Corki. Gragas and Zoe trading a bit here in mid. Both of them opting into Ignite mid, so they will be looking for kills, and whoever does get that first kill will be in a huge advantage. Of course, Zoe losing out first will be a bit more dire, as Gragas can kind of deal with the poke with his innate sustain, though mana is certainly something he has to be concerned about. You can kind of see, as a couple of them have, or a couple of the players have started taking their first backs, that we do see a bit of AD and AP. Respective champions. Jax getting a somewhat decent counter-strike off, but Kennen will be able to zap him back in return. Getting a lot of poke damage here. That PTA is really well used, and it will be Jax probably falling here. Yep, flash for flash, and it will be Thunder Robo falling another time. This is going to be pretty bad, as Jax will have a lot of difficulty trying to get back into the game here. Gragas will get caught by Rakan. Xin trying to get any amount of knock up here, but will be unable to do so as both Darwin and Gragas kind of walk to the safety of their tower. Meanwhile, Ponyo is a bit pushed into tower. He did have the option of using his Gravitum and Incendium combination to clear that wave quick, but it seems that he's instead trying to focus on last hitting as much as he can. That's a nice flash play by DJ Chu onto Hero Nugget, so he will fall as a result. A lot of poke coming here. That is first strike Corki, so definitely going to want to make use of that when he can. Kennen is going to get caught from his recall by the Thunder Robo, but the Slicing Maelstrom will actually act as a counter, and Thunder Robo is 2 levels down here. He's going to have to be very careful, especially as Xin is coming up here, or spot each other's junglers, and they will back off here. To see exactly how Jax tries to get himself back into the game. If he can get a lucky kill onto Kennen, of course that will be a way to give himself a bit more space in this lane, but that will be very difficult to do. Well, it looks like he actually might have just gotten himself back into the game. Instead, it looks like he mispositioned a bit, and Worldwide Talent will pick up that 1 HP kill. That's going to send him 3 deaths behind. It's going to be very, very difficult for Jax to play into this Kennen going forward, as he is down 26 CS, and all he has is an old Magic Mantle. Zin's going to get caught out by the Zyra here, however, the Rakan will pick up the Corki with his W. Fortunately, no kills will come for either side. We'll see Barrier coming out for Glaciate, and Rakan using Ignite. A bit of a win for red side, as Ponyo is without Flash. And that will be Hero actually claiming Cloud under tower. He's got a good roam by the Zoe. Try to get back into the game a bit more, as Gragas does have a bit of a hold in this mid lane. Corki is staying to claim this wave. He might be able to pressure the Aphelios, but now that Rakan has rejoined, he's going to have to be careful for the tower dive himself. Zoe is still here. One bubble will spell doom. Will miss. However, he's not in a position to safely evade, so the tower dive is likely going to ensue. Here we do see the Counter-Strike come out, trying to punish Worldwide Talent. Unfortunately, Kennen is a bit too slippery, and that level lead is probably going to actually just be what makes this lane unplayable going forward. Of course, it's now 3 levels now. Jax is only level 5, and it's going to be almost to the point where it's likely that Corki levels to 6 before he does, which is never a good sign when an ADC is out XPing a top laner. Blue side has a decent amount of control in the bot side, but Gragas has been basically free farming mid lane for a bit here. See that he's almost double the CS of the Zoe. Crescent Guard will be the way Maidon survives the engage by Gragas. Does claim the Gragas' Ignite. Zoe picks up the Ignite and might trade back. Kennen is doing just fine against the Thunder Robo's Counter-Strike engages, and it's going to probably be at the point where Jax is going to want to stop trying to do these trades and really just opt into a much more defensive playstyle. Well, that is 2 procs of the tower shot that Kennen tanked. Of course, just one shuriken will be enough to probably kill Jax, so he doesn't necessarily have the safest means of counter-striking on top. We'll have to see exactly how he chooses to operate here, and he will die. Kennen does have the ability to save up his charges and then get the extra W damage off. Here we see Aphelios pushing the wave just a bit, Rakan helping with the plants, and Zoe is really troubled here as Gragas will need to be punished by Xin. Jarvan will unfortunately be able to help out Gragas here, and Zoe does fall. Red side is going to claim just a bit more to their lead. It's definitely a lead advantage for red side here, and they're going to have to try to play the best they can here. Zoe roaming bot did allow a bit more pressure for Ponyo, so he's able to exist in this lane a bit easier, of course. And with Kennen's vast lead, he's going to, or rather, Spike is going to definitely want to focus his efforts around getting this Gragas ahead and maybe getting Gragas to move around the map with him as well. Fortunately though, red side was able to pick up that first dragon, so it's not like they were unable to do anything with that mid lead. They were also able to claim grubs as well, but that won't be too impactful if the current trend of only the Gragas pushing continues. Of course, Corki and Zyra were able to make use of it just here, grabbing 2 plates off the bot turret. Definitely interesting to see exactly how red side decides to manage the bed Kennen later this game. Xin will try to narrowly kill Cloud, but will instead fall as he gets TP'd on by Thunder Robo. Of course, Jax is probably looking for any excuse to get out of lane, and that was certainly one to claim the kill on Maidon. Of course, it's not going to be too great for him, as that is the 4th plating going down to Kennen. Jarvan's left to claim it. Khan's being a bit aggressive here, as the Corki's kind of just face tanking, autoing him back. Aphelios is probably able to actually, with Rakan, as they both have their ultimates, claim Corki if he's ever out of position. We'll have to see if that ever actually occurs. Does look like instead they might look to rotate. Second Grubs has just spawned. We'll have to see exactly which team takes a priority on that. Here Chu is a bit caught out. He is unable to kill the Zoe with his combo. Fortunately, Jarvan does come by just in time to save, and Maidon falls once more, trying to kind of get Zoe back into the game by punishing Gragas. Gragas has been getting amazing body slams, amazing caskets, so we'll have to definitely pay attention to whether Kennen or Gragas is the better carry this game. Both of them have immaculate ways of kind of forcing team fights in ways that really discombobulate the enemy. So it's definitely up to these 2 carries to try to perform and push their team forward. Jax is a bit safer, of course, at this point in the game. Because he did lose his first tower so early, he's able to kind of keep the wave close to himself. It's going to be a bit risky for Kennen. Of course, Kennen is not tanky enough or has enough means of escape to really push up that far to punish Jax. Kennen instead will try to probably look for other means of punishing red side across the map. Of course, here's picking up vision, but it'll definitely be an interesting interesting to see how exactly Blue Side approaches this. Their lead is very small. They did, of course, have a huge lead top, but it is definitely being mitigated by the kind of blips that they had in their plays mid here. So I'm definitely going to see exactly how they choose to keep going. Gragas is buffering that sleep by trying to go back in. Of course, he's going to be closer to Bone, which kind of prevents Blue Side from going back in. Do see Kennen desperately chasing down Jarvan. Thunder Robo will be here, but however, it will actually be both Bone Void and Thunder Robo falling to Kennen, as Rakan was able to make it in time to help them. Blue Side's top advantage is definitely looking to be the stronger of the AP carries this game. Definitely going to have to watch out for exactly how they propel the game forward. Here Maidon's trying to pick up Cloud, however, the Vineyard does come out. Let's see if Ponyo is able to clean up anyone. They will be able to claim the kill on Glaciate through the barrier, however Cloud will be able to narrowly escape. The dragon will be coming up soon, and both junglers possibly will meet here in bot side. Both Ponyo and Cloud, of course, are very low HP and resource. Here we see a Jarvan going in onto Maidon. Maidon probably falls here. You do see it come out. Casket does claim Ponyo as well. That's a decently good swing for red side, as they will be able to claim this Hextech Dragon. They'll be able to push out mid and bot waves, and now actually Glaciate will be able to kind of, for chance, take the waves top, giving Robo a bit of a break. See Rakan and Zoe trying to kind of fight this dragon a bit. Of course, they're not going to be able to do too much themselves. And that will be 2 dragons for red side. You can see that the goal difference is under 1,000. Items-wise, we do have the Shadow Flame on the 6-0 Kennen. Seems like he's going to go Leandry second, whereas Jax is sitting on a measly Treads, Recurve Bow, and Vamp Scepter. On trying to kill Cloud here, I have to scurry away. We'll be able to do so quite easily, as he is a bird with much mobility. Corki's going to meet him instead. That's going to be the the Rakan ult used for the movement speed to escape. Corki is going the Trinity Force build. Of course, the Opportunity build has fallen a bit out of favor after the nerfs both to Opportunity's ranged and then general Corki changes. Luden's coming out from Gragas. We can definitely see him trying to go for a much more one-shot kill approach. And then meanwhile, Zoe is very far behind in items, not having the Ludens herself picked up yet. Collector first from Aphelios, which is pretty standard for a more AD heavy build. Of course, there's also the Kraken variants that he could go. Bit of a mess up there on the casket by DJ Chu, not able to redirect Zoe onto the already floored casket, but he'll be able to pressure just enough, especially with Bone Void hovering, to grab this tower here, and that will be probably the second tower falling for red side here. They're definitely able to take a lot more control of the bot side of the map here. Kennen's definitely going to be compelled to try to counter the Gragas a bit more this game. He is looking at being a much more split push style of play this game, but that's not going to do well if these dragons keep piling up for red side. Zyra is showing off just how well she has a support and clear wave, which is definitely very obnoxious to deal with. Does hurt blue side's abilities to push in more effectively. Rakan's Celestial Opposition will be opposed by the Corki, falling down, but not too much. Maidon will come in, Corki's Valkyrie will get him out. Zyra will be forced to flash out, and that Cataclysm combination with the Zyra ult will get a lot of people CC'd. However, it is 5 people for blue side here, mid. So, punished in return for fighting without as many of their team. Zyra will likely fall as the Sleepy Bubble hits. Gragas going for the Aphelios here. Corki Valkyrie's back in. Gragas very strong, gets a nice flash in, will be able to secure the Xin Zhao kill. Now just has to chase down the Zoe, and that will be the triple kill for Gragas here. Shu is doing a great job here at countering all the losses that red side had early through Kennen's very good laning. Now we can see that the gold is within 200. Robo is going to find Rakan here in this bush. He will try to go into the Kennen here. Rakan will charm, and Kennen's most likely going to claim this kill here shortly. Fortunately for Robo, he did have a ward, but I'm presuming he did not have his Q to jump out. That could have been one means of surviving that fight going towards the Gragas. Here Corki and Gragas will try to return. Doesn't look like they'll be able to do too much though. Corki's actually going to get caught out along with the Gragas by that slicing Maelstrom. Kennen has a monstrous amount of damage. Zyra here on the wrong side of the fight, not able to do too much with her ult. Kennen and Rakan are able to peel for each other just enough so that they're able to take on the disadvantageous fight. See a Bone here coming up. We do have the TP coming out as well. They can do anything. Rakan is doing really well creating space here. It's definitely going to be difficult for red side to overcommit as they are under tower. See exactly how this ends. Looks like at least Jarvan will fall, but that will be Rakan and Kennen claimed by red side. However, in the mid lane, Ponyo does claim the tower and Zoe is pushing up bot. Take another look at the items so far. Jack's still without item, but he will definitely get it on the next back. Actually, Maedon might find... Yep, Cloud is spotted, and Maedon will be fighting Thunder Robo. Thunder Robo is not that weak, especially with the Zyra plants helping him out, and he might not get the kill anymore. Gragas is going to punish the Zoe, lost an entire wave very quickly to Gragas Caskets, and it looks like both Maedon and Thunder Robo are giving up on contesting this turret. Corki is soloing Dragon here, of course. Definitely advantageous for red side to be getting all these dragons as they've already stacked 2. And it's quite early in the game. Definitely going to create a lot of pressure for that 4th dragon soul contest. In terms of items, we do have 2 completed items on the Gragas and 2 completed items on the Kennen. I don't believe Rakan can do much here, but it will be Aphelios walking up that will probably be able to spell doom for Thunder Robo. Fortunately, that is his 8th death this game, making him just under half of his team's deaths. Very unfortunate, but so is being forced to play Jackson to Kennen. We do see that the Eclipse has been bought for the Xin Zhao, opting for a more fighter, high damage, and slightly less tanky build. We also see usually that Xin Zhao's will pick up items such as Stride Breaker, Titanic for the auto attack reset, but in this game we've opted for a bit more damage. Jarvan does go the pretty standard Sundered Sky. Of course, it's essentially just an extension of his passive with that first hit crit. Do see Infinity Edge being claimed by Aphelios. Aphelios does have a low attack speed build at the moment. Of course, he might be leveling up his attack speed in order to compensate. Instead, it's unclear as to whether Aphelios is opting into the lethality rush or the attack speed rush second. Here Zyra is just going to be giving a bit of hovering towards Thunder Robo, letting him push in. Of course Kennen will meet him, and blue side does have a bit more presence now as Thunder Robo is getting a bit too close here. Might die here, and oh my lord, just one passive proc of Kennen did about 4/5 of Jax's HP. Looks like our Ponyo is in a sticky situation. We'll flash over into the Raptor Pit to safety. Zyra getting caught out by Xin Zhao here. Of course, she's generally able to self-peel. Didn't do too spectacular of a job this time. Bone Void will miss, instead opting to get hit by the bubble. Maedon is looking a bit opportunistically here, but not going to be too reckless with their engage. Oh, Zyra does get caught out, and that's most likely a fall. Bone unable to tank with his Q combo. This is likely going to be the mid turret falling, blue side claiming it. Corki's going to meet Maydon here. We'll Valkyrie out. We'll get caught out. He's not going under tower, which is definitely questionable. We'll still win, but has to blow the barrier in the process. Definitely a lot of back and forth in this game, but the lead has accumulated to 4,000 gold for blue side. It's definitely a good fallback that red side has gotten the first 3 dragons, as that is going to at least somewhat tip the scales. It's going to be not the most, but at least some gold in terms of power given back to them, a bit of move speed, attack speed, haste, and of course the regen. Looking here on items, we're seeing... I'm not sure what the recurve bow on Corki is building into with the Amp Tome and Glowing Moat. I may be out of the loop with the current Corki builds, but I don't remember him ever building magic after the change. Definitely have to see where that goes. An Asher's Tooth would be especially surprising. Jarvan has picked up the Shojin. That's going to be a lot of normal ability haste. Definitely helping him for getting multiple EQs in the same fight. And then besides that, we do see Rakan hitting that Warmog's threshold, so he'll be able to kind of weave into fights even more so than he was before, with getting that vamp in between short bursts of fighting. I guess is going to be a bit careful here as he does spot the roaming blue side into their jungle. Corki and Zyra might be a bit pushed up. They're going to be falling back as a result of realizing this. And 4th dragon is spawning rather soon. Do you see Thunder Robo pushing pretty deep here on the bot side? We're going to have to see exactly if he's punished in any way or if he's allowed to just kind of take this turret. There will be Rakan trying to make a move on this Corki, of course getting picked up by Zyra. Instead, Gragas one-shots Ponyo, and then we'll be able to clean up the Rakan afterwards. Kennen has a massive amount of damage, but 1v4 he still will pop himself. Here we can see Corki Valkyrieing in a bit aggressively, trying to kind of pick up with his rockets this kill on Kennen. However, Kennen's damage is just too much, and he will snipe Corki back. That's an interesting interaction. It looks like the body slam went through Xin Zhao as he kind of went into Gragas, but it does not matter as Maydon will fall as well. Here, Thunder Robo has successfully taken 2 almost towers. Definitely a lot of advantages coming from the mid and bot side here for red side. Zoe's catching that Jax out in the forest. There are 3 following behind him, but as the dragon falls, blue side will be made aware that there are people nearby. The bubble barely misses the ledge, will not go over. Jarvan will, however, get poked and forced to take his back a bit farther away. You can definitely see that the once 4k gold advantage is now under 2k, and with Soul, that's going to create a lot more chances for the red side to punish fights in which either Kennen, Zoe, or Xin are not able to absolutely one-shot the enemy team. You see Gragas getting a nice casket here. However, the barrier combined with the ultimate, the red ultimate from Aphelios, will give him a bit more time alive before utterly failing to live past that. Here we see Robo trying to punish Kennen. However, it looks like he might just die, because that is the law of this game. Kennen will just kill Jax at every possible moment. You see Corki coming up behind. He will catch the Rakan as Gragas picks up pincered Kennen. Lots and lots of back and forths. The once 10 kill advantage, I believe, or maybe it was a bit lesser than that, has now shortened to 2. So definitely interesting to see exactly how blue will choose to keep going here. Bone has once more made a lot of really good plays in countering a lot of engages. Of course, Zyra has been phenomenal in kind of stopping immediate burst through the roots and the knockups. It's been very difficult for blue side to kind of go into these fights and deal enough damage fast enough to to really get a lead in these fights. And with the returns by Gragas getting a lot of flanking angles so far, and Jax just generally splitting, it's been very good for red side, even though they've been playing from behind a lot of this game. DJ Chu will pick up the Zoe under tower, and it looks like with the Baron buff they might start pushing to end here. At the very least they can pressure for an inhibitor. Ponyo is way out. I think they don't understand just the position they're in and are instead choosing to actually back. Khan is going to try to stall these backs, of course not seeing the Zyra in the brush, and she will be able to get out unscathed. Take a quick look at the items so far. We do see the Wit's End pickup from Jax, definitely to deal with the Kennen, however he will never deal with Kennen. Meanwhile, we do have the Shadow Flame picked up by Gragas, just a lot of damage. We have a... I do not know why the hell we have it, but Glaciate does have Nashor's Tooth on Corki, for whatever reason that is. Definitely not as much damage as a Collector or nearly any crit item would have, but to each their own. DJ Chu absolutely annihilating Zoe. Here Thunder Robo might fall to Kennen once more, however he will be able to flash out of that scary situation. Looking back at items, we do have the Leandries out on the Zyra with the Oblivion Orb. That's going to be really good for getting a lot of anti-heal on the team. And wow, that was an instant delete on Ponyo, not even able to get that Moonlight Vigil out. It's going to be the wave being pushed in here with the Baron minions. Maydon and Rakan will be here. The Rakan does get kind of set back by the Gragas. Gragas knocks Mei out of the fight. Mei flashes over Gragas, gets a Crescent Guard out, and nearly kills Corki. However, Glaciate does get a phenomenal flash outside of that Xin W. Here we do see Rakan getting picked up by Bone. And now it's just going to be red side continuing their push. There's just the mid and top from blue side here to fight. And honestly, if they went 2 for 2 or even 2 for 3, they could end here. You'll have to see exactly how they choose to continue this fight. Of course, Thunder Robo is going to still be pushing up top side. They're definitely taking this very slowly and cautiously, as they're not pushing things too bad. However, DJ Chu gets an absolutely nutty flash onto this cannon, completely decimates the damage capacities of blue side. Here, Bone Void is going to come in, try to clean up the Zoe. The Gragas Ignite will pick it up. Both of these towers are now dead. Blue side has only 3 members alive to deal with this. 2 now. Maydon going in, trying to claim Corki. Will be unable to, as Corki narrowly survives. And now it's just going to be Chicken Ponyo stuck under tower as SKT 2013 claimed the win over 2021 EDG. That's going to be it for this week's games. I'm glad for everyone who dropped by, and see you in 2 weeks.